Daddy Panda's Bedtime Mission 1. Cozy evening, the sky outside the little panda house turned soft shades of lavender, peach, and dusky pink. Tiny stars twinkled above the garden, and sleepy fireflies danced slowly beside the roses. The trees swayed gently in the evening breeze, and somewhere far away, a little owl gave a quiet hoot. Inside the warm panda house, everything smelled of strawberry bubbles and freshly washed blankets. Mama Panda knelt beside Wanda and Janda and kissed both little pandas gently on their fluffy heads. "I'm going to have a quiet bath and a cup of tea," she said with a soft smile. "Tonight Daddy Panda is doing bedtime." Daddy Panda stood proudly in the hallway with both paws on his hips and his chest puffed out importantly. "No problem at all," he declared cheerfully. "I am a bedtime expert." Wanda giggled. Janda blinked slowly. Mama Panda gave Daddy Panda a very knowing look. "Good luck," she whispered before heading downstairs. Daddy Panda smiled confidently. For one tiny moment, everything was perfectly quiet. Then, "Mama!" cried Janda dramatically. "I want Mama to do my pajamas," Wanda added with a sigh. Daddy Panda clutched his chest in shock. "Oh dear," he gasped. "This is a very serious emergency." Janda nodded sadly. "Only Mama does bedtime proper." Daddy Panda rubbed his chin thoughtfully. "Well," he said slowly, "we may need Operation Cozy Panda." Wanda's ears perked up immediately. "What's that?" Daddy Panda lowered his voice to a whisper. "A secret bedtime mission." Immediately, both little pandas became interested. Even Janda stopped wobbling toward the stairs to call Mama again. Daddy Panda tiptoed dramatically toward the bathroom door and looked carefully around the hallway as if checking for danger. "Agents," he whispered, "your first mission is to brush your teeth before the toothbrush tickle monster appears." "The what?" squeaked Janda, her eyes growing wide. "The toothbrush tickle monster," Daddy Panda explained seriously. "Very fluffy, very giggly, absolutely terrible at brushing teeth." Wanda narrowed her eyes suspiciously. "Is that real?" Daddy Panda shrugged. "I suppose we shall find out." Suddenly both pandas rushed into the bathroom. Brush, brush, brush. Tiny panda paws scrubbed as quickly as possible. Janda brushed so fast that toothpaste splattered onto the mirror, the sink, and even Daddy Panda's pajama sleeve. Daddy Panda looked down dramatically. "Oh dear," he whispered. "I think the monster was very close." Janda gasped loudly and brushed even faster. Soon their shiny little panda teeth sparkled brightly in the bathroom light. Daddy Panda inspected them carefully. Excellent brushing," he announced proudly. "The toothbrush tickle monster has been defeated," Janda clapped happily. "One mission complete," Daddy Panda declared. "But bedtime is still impossible," Wanda sighed. "Mama always reads the best stories." Daddy Panda pretended to think very hard. That is tricky." He tapped his chin. Then suddenly his eyes widened dramatically. "I know exactly what we need." "What?" asked the sisters together. "A bedtime cave." The pandas blinked. "A what?" "A bedtime cave," Daddy Panda repeated proudly. "Every sleepy explorer needs one." Within minutes, Daddy Panda had draped blankets over chairs and tucked fairy lights underneath. The little cave glowed warm and golden like a tiny magical lantern. Inside were fluffy pillows, cuddly teddies, soft blankets, and 3 cups of warm milk. Janda crawled inside immediately. "Oh!" Wanda smiled despite herself. "It's actually quite nice." "Quite nice!" Daddy Panda cried dramatically. "This is the finest bedtime cave in all the Panda lands." The sisters burst into giggles. Daddy Panda squeezed himself inside with a very big oof, and the whole cave wobbled sideways. One pillow bounced onto Daddy Panda's head. Janda laughed so hard she nearly tipped over her milk. Then Daddy Panda opened a storybook, but instead of reading normally, he used very silly voices. The dragon sounded sneezy. The princess sounded terribly fancy. The little mouse squeaked so loudly that Wanda laughed until milk nearly came out of her nose. Even Janda rolled onto the pillows, giggling and kicking her tiny feet in the air. Downstairs, Mama Panda smiled softly into her tea as she listened to the happy sounds floating down from upstairs. After the story, Daddy Panda lowered his voice again. "Agents," he whispered seriously, "final mission." The sisters leaned closer. "You must carry your sleepy yawns safely to bed before they escape." Right away, Janda gave a huge yawn. "Oh no," Daddy Panda whispered dramatically. "One nearly escaped." Wanda quickly covered her mouth to catch her yawn before it floated away. Daddy Panda nodded proudly. "Excellent bedtime skills." The little pandas hurried into bed at last. Daddy Panda tucked the blankets around them snugly and kissed both fluffy foreheads gently. The room felt soft and warm and sleepy. But just as Daddy Panda turned off the lamp, "Mama!" Janda called quietly into the darkness. Daddy Panda froze completely. For one tiny moment nobody moved. Then Wanda gently patted her little sister's paw. "It's okay," she whispered kindly. "Daddy did a lovely bedtime." Janda thought for a moment. Then she nodded sleepily. "He funny dragon." Daddy Panda smiled so warmly his heart felt all squishy inside. Outside, moonlight shimmered softly across the garden flowers. Inside, the room smelled of warm blankets, strawberry milk, bedtime stories, and sleepy cuddles. Wanda's eyes finally grew heavy. "Maybe Daddy can do bedtime sometimes too," she mumbled sleepily. Daddy Panda grinned proudly. "Another successful mission," he whispered. Janda snuggled deeper beneath the blankets. "Best cave ever," she murmured. A few moments later, both little pandas were fast asleep beneath the twinkling stars. And downstairs, Mama Panda smiled into her tea, knowing bedtime had turned out rather lovely after all. Tonight's little lesson. Sometimes things feel different when Mama or Daddy does them another way, but love, laughter, and feeling safe are what make bedtime special most of all.